So far we discussed about digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion. Now today our topic is the human musculoskeletal system. Muscle and skeleton both are interlinked. In our body, the supporting system to our body is the bones, that is called skeletal system. So on the skeleton, muscles are attached. So bones are working by the help of the muscles. In our body, three different types of muscles are there: skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and the cardiac muscle. Skeletal muscle is attached with the bones. Okay, so what we are discussing here today, our topic is muscle. The study of muscle is called myology. The study of muscle is called myology. Types: there are three different types of muscles are present. In that, first one is called skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscle. Second one, smooth muscle. And third, a special muscle present only in the heart, that is called cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle. So the special character of the muscle is one, it has the capacity of excitability, and second one, contractility. Third one is relaxation. So every muscle has these three characters: excitability, contractility, and relaxation. Okay, and the muscles in the skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. Skeletal muscle is voluntary in nature, and remaining these two are involuntary. So in our body, voluntary, all skeletal muscles are voluntary muscles, are under the control of somatic nervous system. And here smooth muscles and cardiac muscles are under control of autonomous nervous system. So in our body, all voluntary muscles or skeletal muscles are under control of somatic nervous system, and smooth muscles and cardiac muscles they are involuntary in nature, and they are under the control of autonomic nervous system. So here muscles, the study of muscle is called myology. There are three types are there, and the characters of the muscles are excitability, contractility, and relaxation. Muscle function. What is the function of a muscle? Muscle function is locomotion. Okay, also called movement. So the functions of the muscle is locomotion. They are useful in the locomotion, movement of the organism, movement of the body parts. That is the function of the muscle. And in the locomotion, we have types of locomotion. So here type 1 movement is known as amoeboid movement. Second one ciliary movement. And third one muscular movement. So here we have three different types of movements in the organisms we see, And first one is amoeboid movement. Amoeboid movement is the amoeba-like movement. Amoeba uses pseudopodia to move. So like that, the body is with in the amoeboid movement. First one, coming to the amoeboid movement. So first one, amoeboid movement. In the amoeboid movement, amoeba-like movement. So amoeba-like movement is present, and this type of movement we see in the leukocytes. Leukocytes. Okay, and these leukocytes, they have the capacity of diapedesis. Diapedesis means the movement of the leukocytes from the blood vessels to the muscles. That is called diapedesis. When they are diapedesis, the movement is called amoeboid movement. Amoeba-like movement is present. Amoeba-like movement is present in the leukocytes. That is called amoeboid movement. Leukocytes, they exhibit this type of movement. For this, they have, amoeba also have dynein arms. Dynein arms are present. Okay, in the dynein arms, they have contractile proteins, contractile filament proteins. So contractile filament proteins. Filament proteins are present, and these filamentous proteins, they are responsible for the amoeboid movement in the amoeba and also in the leukocytes. That is called amoeboid movement. And second one is ciliary movement. In the ciliary movement, cilia present on the cell surface or on the body of the organism. They are responsible for the movement. So the movement of the cilia creates the movement of the organism. So in our body, the tubular parts, that is called the nasal cavity and the respiratory tract, and inside the stomach, small intestine, okay, nephrons. In the nephron, the PCT and DCT all are with this ciliary type of movement, and these cilia are present on the paramecium. If you take the paramecium, total body is covered with cilia. Okay. So total body is covered with cilia in the paramecium, and this type of movement is called ciliary motion. And in our body, respiratory tract, digestive tract, and urinary tract also is with ciliary movement. So this is the different types of movements are present. In that, first movement is called amoeboid movement, second one is a ciliary movement, and third one, in our body we use hands, that's called forelimbs and hind limbs movement. So whatever the muscles attached to the bones, and then these muscles are work with the help of the excitability, contractility and relaxation of the muscle characters, and that type of movement is known as the third type, that is called muscular movement. So in the muscular movement, skeletal muscles are involved. Okay, and third type of muscle contraction is called muscular movement. In the muscular movement, forelimbs and hind limbs. So the movement of the forelimbs and hind limbs and other body parts by using the muscles, so running, walking, jumping. So all these type of actions carried out by the muscles attached to the bones, and those muscles are known as skeletal muscles. So the muscles attached to the bones, so this is the tendon, and so this is the muscle. So this is the muscle. So the muscle attached to the bone with the tendon, these muscles are known as skeletal muscles. They are called skeletal muscle. Okay. So muscles, approximately in our body, 40 to 50% body volume is with muscles weight only. So 40 to 50% is the muscular weight, and these the muscles attached to the bone. This is the bone. So the muscles attached to the bone with a tendon. Okay, the bone to muscle joint. The bone to muscle joint is called tendon, and these muscles are known as skeletal muscles. So now in our body, skeletal muscles are more in number. So in our body, skeletal muscles are more in number, and these skeletal muscles are responsible for the movement of the body parts, forelimbs, hind limbs, okay, and other body parts with attached with the bones. Okay, and these parts are move because of the skeletal muscles. So now in our today's class, we discuss only the ultra structure of striated muscle. Okay, now see here the skeletal muscle. So what we are discussing here is the skeletal muscle. Skeletal muscles are also known as, the skeletal muscles are also known as striated muscles. Because on the muscle fiber of this skeletal muscles, they have bands. One is a dark band and one is a light band. So dark band, light band. So like that. So this is the dark band, light band. Once again, same dark band and light band. Then the dark band. So like that here, alternatively a dark and a light, and a dark and a light. So these bands are appear, and in the ultra microscopic view, they are looks like a striations, so called striated muscles. So skeletal muscles are also known as striated muscles, and these striated muscles, the character of the striated muscles is they work fast, and fatigue, tiredness, fatigue also very fast, and work fast. They can work very fast, but they tired very easily. So after doing some work, we take rest, because skeletal muscles cannot work continuously. Okay, and the character is called they work fast and fatigue fast. In our body, one of the skeletal muscle without bone, it is a skeletal muscle, it is a striated muscle. Okay, and that muscle is without bones, also called skeletal muscle. The best example for that is the tongue. Tongue is without bone, but it comes under the skeletal muscle and striated muscle because it is voluntary in nature. So that means here skeletal muscles are striated muscles, and also they are voluntary muscles. That is why they are under the control of somatic nervous system. They are under control of somatic nervous system. So this is the brief information about the skeletal muscles, because we are discussing totally about the ultra structure of skeletal muscle only. So you have to know some characters of the skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles are also known as striated muscle because they have the striations. Dark light bands are appear on the muscle myofibril or microfibril. There is a striation, so called striated muscle. They are voluntary in nature. They are under the control of somatic nervous system. Our consciousness, if you want to work, then only work. Unnecessarily the muscle cannot undergo work because it is under the control of our consciousness, so called this is called voluntary muscles. But in the internally, stomach or small intestine, if you take those are heart or kidneys, all these muscles are under the control of autonomic nervous system, and they are involuntary in nature. They do their work in their specific time. So they cannot we cannot stop their function. So if we control our muscular function, those muscles are known as voluntary muscles. So we can control our forelimb and hind limb body parts. So they are under control of our somatic nervous system, so called voluntary muscles. So here skeletal muscles are striated muscles, voluntary muscles under the control of somatic nervous system. They work fast, tied fast, and on the microfibril or myofibril, the dark and white bands are alternatively present throughout the length of the muscle fiber. Okay, and in our body total the muscles in our body, there are 640 different types of muscles are present in our body. So total muscles in our body are 640, and the bones in our body, there are 206 bones are present in our body. So 206 bones and 640 muscles are present. Okay, this is this bone number, this is in the adults. The bone number is different in the adults and infants. Okay, adults and infants, the number is different. Next, coming to our topic, the ultra structure of the muscle. Muscles attached to the bones, with a tendon are called skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscle are called skeletal muscle, and the outermost covering of the muscle, is known as epimysium. The outermost covering of the muscle is called epimysium. Within the muscle, the muscle bundles. So the bundles are present. Bundle 1, bundle 2, bundle 3, 4, 5, like that. So bundles are present. These bundles, each one bundle, it is known as each one bundle. It is every fascicle also covered by a tissue membrane, that's called perimysium, also called fascia. Within the fascicle, muscle fibers are present. This is called muscle fiber. Okay, these muscle fibers are also covered by a membrane, is called endomysium. So muscle fiber, endomysium, fasciculus, perimysium, total above the muscle is called epimysium. So here the coverings we discussed here, epimysium is the outermost covering, perimysium is the fascicle covering, and muscle fiber covering is called endomysium. Within the endomysium, if you cut open the endomysium, there are muscle myofibrils are present. This is called myofibrils. Okay, muscle myofibrils also known as myofilaments. They are also called myofilaments. Is it visible? Yes. So myofibrils are also known as myofilaments. Each myofibril is with inside the proteins are present. Inside the muscle myofilament or myofibril, two types of proteins are present. One is actin, second one is called myosin. So these actin and myosins are known as contractile proteins. They are called contractile proteins. Contractile proteins. So they are known as contractile proteins. So this is about the muscle, the skeletal muscle, and they cut open inside. So these are some of the parts present in the skeletal muscle. Now coming to our topic is here, ultra structure of a skeletal muscle fiber. So the muscle fiber, how a skeletal muscle fiber is present, and that is our next topic, structure of a skeletal muscle fiber. So every muscle fiber is made up of myofilaments. Muscle fiber is made up of myofilaments, also called myofibril fibers. Suppose this is the one of the muscle fiber. This is a muscle fiber. So inside the muscle fiber here myofilaments or myofibrils are present. Okay, and this is the muscle fiber, the covering of the muscle fiber, the outermost covering of the muscle fiber is known as sarcolemma. So this is cell. Suppose if you take our common body cell, animal cell, outermost covering is called plasma lemma or cell membrane, also called plasma membrane. So here common cell and muscle cell, if you observe, the names are somewhat changed here. Plasma lemma is in the our common body cell, animal cell. The outermost covering of a cell is known as plasma lemma or cell membrane, also called plasma membrane. But in the muscle, that cell membrane is known as sarcolemma. In the common our body cell, the animal cell, the liquid present inside the cell is called cytoplasm. This is called cytoplasm. And the liquid present inside the muscle fiber, this is called sarcoplasm. And the cell organelle attached to the nucleus in our common body cell, this is known as endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and here the endoplasmic reticulum ER in the muscle cell, it is known as sarcoplasmic reticulum. So sarcode, basing on the name sarcode also came because of the cytoplasm present in the muscle cells. So the cell cytoplasm also called as a sarcode here. So cytoplasm in our body cells, that cytoplasm is called sarcoplasm. Okay, sarcolemma is the outermost covering. Okay, and the ER present in the muscles fiber is known as a sarcoplasmic reticulum, that is called SER, sarcoplasmic reticulum. So like that the names are changed here. Sarco, whenever you find the word sarcode, and that is dealing with the muscles. So here what we discussed here, the outermost covering of the muscle fiber is known as a sarcolemma. Inside the liquid is called sarcoplasm, and the endoplasmic reticulum in the muscle fiber is known as sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, now what we are discussing here, we are discussing about the structure of a skeletal muscle fiber, and here all these skeletal muscles are made up of embryonic. So if you take the embryonic stage, myoblasts cells are present, and these are mononucleate myoblast cells are present, and all these single myoblast cells are covered in the single fiber. Within the single fiber they are covered and converted into a skeletal muscle. So what we are discussing here, myoblast cells in the embryonic stage, they are mononucleate. Whenever the group of myoblast cells are collectively forms a skeletal muscle fiber, and so these skeletal muscles are syncytium in nature. Syncytium means here multinucleated, and also the nucleus is peripheral nucleus and attached to the immediately to the sarcolemma. So this type of nucleus means here syncytial or syncytium means multinucleated muscle fibers are present, and because of the embryonic stage the myoblast cells are present, and these myoblast cells are collectively forms. They are mononucleated. All is mononucleated myoblast cells collectively collectively forms a muscle fiber, and in the skeletal muscle fiber, that is why they exhibit the condition that is called syncytium condition. Syncytium means here multinucleated state is present, and the nucleus not in the middle, it is peripheral. So the nucleus is peripheral peripheral nuclei is present. Peripheral means just below the sarcolemma, attached to the sarcolemma. Nucleus is present, and this condition is known as syncytium because of the myoblast cells, mononucleated cells collectively forms a muscle fiber. So the skeletal muscles are syncytium in condition.